Welcome into Yu-Gi-Oh! Week. My name is Takabola from Takabola Gaming, and today we're going to be beginning a new series, going through all the gameplay of the 2003 in North America game Yu-Gi-Oh! The Falsebound Kingdom. This was a game of my childhood. It was very much fun for me to do, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So we're going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to double check that I'm on the right one. Okay. And we're going to go with a new game story mode. Now you have two options here at the start. You can play as Yugi or you can play as Kaiba. Almost every guide that I've seen recommends starting as Yugi. I do think it's slightly easier to start as Yugi. I think you have better monsters. You have more generals or marshals as they're called. Things like that. And you have to play both of them, and the second ending is a little bit harder, no matter which one you're on, and Kaiba would have a little bit of an advantage there from his side. But the story, I like the story a lot better with Kaiba, and although the Let's Plays on YouTube are starting with Yugi, so I'm going to start differently, and I'm going to start with Kaiba. Now I have a guide next to me that has guides, so like all the locations of monsters and what is sold in which place. So hopefully we won't miss anything, and nor will we have to take a lot of time for that. Those who claim to control the gods are in fact controlled by the gods. Alexander Irvine, Professor. So this is the Sick Research Facility. What a cheap-looking building. And it took forever to get here. I know. If this didn't have something to do with duel monsters, I would have turned them down right away. Sick does the same kind of work as Kaiba Corporation, but it's an American company, right? Right. Their involvement in duel monsters is not something they advertise. But the company is a world-renowned overseas for its incredibly realistic imaging and virtual reality technology. It's not really a game company, it's more like a scientific center for imaging technology research. But their technology may be able to help us improve the dual disc, right? That's the impression I got. The invitation says they want to show me a new product and discuss a joint venture. It sounds like they're ready to test their prototype. Let's just see what they have to show us. We can figure out what they want to do after that. So this game came out shortly after the Battle City Tournament arc of the anime show, where they had these dueling discs that you'll see here in a minute. And that kind of ties in there with the plot. But that's pretty much all of it. As far as tying into the show, or even the cards, pretty much just the monsters. It's not the card game, which I enjoy about this particular game. Thank you for coming, Mr. Kaiba. My entire staff and I would like to welcome you. Izono? Excuse me. I didn't expect to run into you here. So this is where you've been since you left Kaiba Corp. I did enjoy working for you, Mr. Kaiba. Whatever. Whatever relationship we had ended when you left Kaiba Corp. I don't care what you do with your life. Alright, let's get this over with. What is it you want to show me? It's right inside, sir, if you'll just follow me. Oh, I have to hit the button. We've asked the president of Kaiba Corporation here today so he can evaluate Sick's latest invention. All of us here at Sick are excited about today's test. We're looking forward to collaborating with Kaiba Corporation on game technology development. Humph. Let's cut to the chase here, shall we? You need investment capital to sell your technology. You want to use duel monsters to help you sell it because you need a product tie-in, right? And you figured you could use me, since I've invested so much money in duel monsters already. Well, your silence speaks volumes. As it turns out, I needed some new tech anyway, so I might as well take a look. Is this it? Yes. This is Sick's latest simulator, codenamed Kingdom. Just what are you trying to pull? It looks like our dual disc. This is just a prototype. We're only using the dual disc for packaging reasons. It's all original Sick hardware on the inside. How's it different from the dual disc? For starters, Kingdom is not set up to use cards. The disc is just a terminal to the Duel Monsters world, which is created by the Sick supercomputer. By allowing players to enter the world, the game can support multiple players at the same time. The world has already been constructed, we'd just like you to play the game as you normally would. It sounds like a network game or something. Those were new back when this came out. I see. It certainly sounds different from the duel monsters we know today. Kingdom is a fantasy world. The card monsters there are alive. The empire that rules that world is currently dealing with a population on the brink of revolt. The two of you will join that world and try to complete the game. Of course, you'll both participate in the game as different game characters. The game is currently set for a few hours, and we'll be recording your play data from here. It sounds like fun, let's play! Okay. Something about this doesn't feel right. Izono is up to something. It's no coincidence that one of my former employees is involved. After all, he headed up the development of the dual disk at the dual computer. Sick. That has to stand for something, but what? Wasn't that other guy's name? Year 336 of the 6th Vars Empire. Here's the map. After 300 years of ruling the Rondebel continent, the 6th Vars Empire is faced with a crisis. Since the 12th Emperor Haitian ascended to the throne, corruption and brutality have spread through the empire. The people feel suppressed, but their complaints have fallen on deaf ears. Haitian and a select group of his underlings have been living in the lap of luxury. The lavish lifestyle supported by heavy taxation has pushed most of the populace to the brink. People on the fringes of the empire have responded with rebellion and revolt. And the capital city of 6th Vars... Trouble? Kingdom Simulator Overload. Safety lock engaging. Beginning transition to Mode 2. Transition to Mode 2 complete. Kingdom Simulator lock-in mode activated. What the? Ugh! Bah. Kaiba. Wrong? Kaiba. Kaiba, what's wrong? Please, look at me. Ugh, my head. What's wrong? You just collapsed all of a sudden. Where am I? Where's your manners, Kaiba? You stand before the Emperor. This is the capital city of 6th Vars, and we are in the Imperial Palace. We were in the middle of a meeting with His Highness before you passed out. Don't you remember? No, I don't. I don't remember anything. Pull yourself together, man. I expect more from the head of my Imperial Guard and my best warrior. Let's go over the plan again, for Kaiba's sake. Listen well, if you know what's good for you. We've gotten reports of a fairly large revolt taking place in the Maradin Plains in the north. There are several marshals assisting the resistance army there. We must capture them. None of my other generals seem up to the task, so Kaiba, I want you to hunt them down. Take the Imperial Guard and strike the fear of the Empire into them. Well, don't you have something to say? I believe Lord Kaiba is still not quite himself. Perhaps he's suffering fatigue from his strenuous activities. Your Highness, Lord Kaiba's present condition makes me a little anxious about leaving this entirely in his hands. With your permission, I would like to accompany him and offer my support. I understand. Permission granted. I trust you do not have a problem with this, Kaiba. Sure. You're right. Kaiba's acting strangely. Do not let me down, Marthas. Yes, sir. Seto. Mokuba, you're here too? Yes. Looks like I'm a member of the Imperial Guard and I report directly to you. This place is unbelievable. For a virtual reality program, it sure is realistic. It's a bit too realistic. I don't get the feeling that we're in control of the game at all. I think it's safe to say that we've been trapped in this world. That was probably the plan all along. Just wait until I get my hands on that wretch Izono. Well, while you're at your meeting, I did some research. In this world, dual monster duelists are called marshals. Haitian used that word in my meeting with him. Marshals are like generals, and are the central player of each battle in this world. Marshals have special power over monsters, so instead of soldiers, they two-man team monsters. We'll get to all this. This is all a tutorial. How did this happen to us? I don't know, but it looks like we're stuck playing the roles we've been assigned. Zono did say it was a game, so maybe if we play the game all the way to the end, we'll find a way to get out. That's right. Every game has got to have an ending. Well, I'm not entirely sure, but playing this game out seems to be our only option right now. Alright, so we will take a look at this. This is the beginning of, finally, the beginning of Chapter 1. The introduction here is over. Since you're not quite well yet, allow me to explain our strategy. This is a map of the Empire on the Rondebel continent. And here are the Maradin Plains. This is where they're revolting. The Maradin revolt is quite large, but our Imperial Guard should be able to quell it easily. The Emperor's orders are to wipe out the resistance forces completely, so that they never think of revolting again. This is your chance to prove yourself in something other than drills, Kaiba. Keep your opinions to yourself. Now continue. Since you're not feeling 100% right now, remember to be careful when assembling your teams. We can have up to 3 teams, since you, I, and Mokuba are all marshals, yada yada yada. Go ahead and assemble your teams. Amanda, skilled as yourself, will create some exceptional teams, I'm sure. I'm going to have her dripping with irony. Now, I do think that this is a her. It looks like a her to me. Everyone has called it a him, so, you know, maybe it is, I don't know. But, yeah. We shall see. So every monster here has different stats. You can see the experience up there and level, kind of like Pokemon, but not. Well, it's very much like Pokemon in that sense. But the max is 99, not 100. You can see health points, attack points, defense points, which are used if they're in guard mode, and then action points is the star. So, like, you have 3 here, 2 here, and 3 here. Each marshal also has battle, life, and action points, as well as a preferred type. That little orb there is kind of a preferred type of monster, so if you can team them up, that's even better for you. In fact, I wonder if... yeah. So why don't you go to Kaiba's team, and you go to Mokuba's team. They'll be paired up a little bit closer. You can see the colors are a little bit closer there, and maybe that'll help them out. I'm actually going to swap their locations. The middle one is what matters for speed, as well as I guess we'll do Water Girl. No, Water Girl needs to be on Mokuba's team. We'll put you here. Put you on Kaiba's team, that's fine. Each marshal also has an ability, so you can see the Mokuba has a discount ability, and Kaiba has Master of the Egyptian Gods, and Marithus has nothing. A little bit of advice, you don't keep Marithus, so don't use him or her, if at all possible, because you don't want to give up your experience to that. Each one is able to hold an item, but we don't have any items right now, so that doesn't really matter. And then you can mark the ones to go or not. I see I can use 3 marshals in this fight. I have 3 marshals, so I've done that here. The red ones have to go because they're going to be in a cutscene in the fight. That's pretty much where it's at. So then, if you're playing this, you want to save before every fight, because there's a small chance that it will freeze on you. But other than that, off you go. We've arrived at the Marden Plains. The enemy is hiding in the town of Rizpan. They will not come out to meet us. Why don't we give them a little demonstration by attacking the nearest village? We can take gold and supplies from towns and cities that aid the resistance and defy the Emperor. What better way to stuff the Imperial purse than taking a rebel town, eh? Currently, all of our teams are holding position in Maraden. Let's select a team to send out to one of the nearby villages. To send out a team into battle, position the cursor over the town the team is in and press the A button. Then select a command to have the team carry out. Finally, move the cursor in the location you want the team to go and press the A button. Let's just get started. So instead, I'm going to go to icon mode, and you can do this. It's just a little kind of map thing. And I'm going to have her go there. I'm going to have Mokuba go down here, and I'm going to have Kaiba go this way, because he's going to run into a monster. On some maps, you can run into a roaming monster. There's some prerequisites sometimes. And other maps, you don't have anything. And some you get a bunch of monsters, some you get only one, some you get none. It just kind of plays by the cards. Well, that was a Yu-Gi-Oh pun. Interestingly, in the comments, tell me if you ever watched the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, if you had any experience with the Yu-Gi-Oh card game at all or anything like that. It was a small part of my growing up. So every monster has an attack. Some of them can get a special attack as they grow up. You can have items, and you can escape if you want to lose the fight. You can try to run away, or you can go into defense mode and you can guard. When you're facing a roaming monster, I'm going to push start, you have to win the fight. So you can either knock them out, which is what we're going to try and do here because I think we can, or you just score more points than them. If you guard, that uses your defense, and they have to have a higher attack than your defense to break through that guard. Otherwise, you get points for how much you do. So I'm going to guard here. We're going to actually turn this around a little bit. And you can see guard there. And of course, it went right back to me. But you do get points for guarding. And then you're also able to reduce the amount of points that they get from damage because, well, they can't hurt you as much as they could before, which is helpful. All right, we're going to go ahead and attack. I very rarely guard, but it is an option. 3-on-1, you should win this fight. There are some other ones later that are much more difficult to actually fight. And later on, if you're coming back through for Kaiba, you can fight this fight. This is taking place in the forest. Some monsters have what's called Forest Adapt, in which case they get more health and more action points in the forest than they do in regular places, and you can try to plan out your attacks like that. There's also Castle Adapt, Road Adapt, Field Adapt, etc. Alright, so we won that fight, and now Baphomet has joined my army. So I'm going to have you just kind of sit right here. So they're not really random encounters, they're very much scripted, but you have to kind of know where they are. Now, I will say that if you're watching this as it's coming out, the next 5 days will be this game to get it kind of started. And then Hearts of Iron will return on Saturday, and EU4 will return next week. We'll have all 3 of them going at that point. We have control of one village and are hunting for any traitors that may have gotten away. Once this news reaches the Resistance Army, they'll have no choice but to come out and face us. When they do, you can either fortify your defenses or take the opportunity to crush another village. What are your orders? Facing the enemy in a castle or town will give us the upper hand. Yes, it will. Maybe. Let's go here. You see the ability, Night Adept. Okay. So facing them at night would make it, good. That's also Night Adept. So all that's important to do too. You want to try and balance your teams with the right marshals, with the right adaptations, with the right everything. Now this guy is going to come down and attack Mokuba. And so we will defend there. As we go along, I might cut out some of this walking because it is somewhat annoying. I'm aware of that. The game kind of is what it is. It's kind of slow. I enjoy it. The nice, easy pace of it all, but you might not. We've encountered the enemy marshals. It should be an easy win. Yada, yada, yada. Yes, okay, thank you. I can explain that too. Thank you. Thank you. Curse you, Imperial curs. We will not break the will of the people. Okay. Now, interestingly, this is an allusion to something that happens way later in another campaign. This whole battle is. And there's another allusion to this battle in Yugi's campaign. And the campaigns kind of go in and around each other a little bit, which is nice. Now, I always like to come over here to the info and flip it over and see. This has 3 attacks, but they're only 650. So that 2 attacks of 1200 is more important than the 3 attacks of 650. But this 3 attacks of 1300, that's the most important. So we're going to focus our attention on that guy. Occasionally, if they're close enough, then the most important thing is action points. If you can knock a monster out before they use all their action points, then that's that much damage, that many chances to use an item that they just don't have. But I don't think we're going to be able to do that, so we're just going to hit here. And there's another explanation. They can miss. And when you miss, the opponent gets points. Now, in order to take a town, you have to actually push the opposition completely out. So he would have to knock out all 3 of my monsters. And if the battle ends because we just don't have any action points left, and he has more points on this screen than I do, then he will win. He'll be pushed back out and immediately can come back and attack. If I win, then he has to wait five real-life seconds before he can move in and attack again. And that gives my people a little bit more chance to heal automatically. Oh, they guarded, so I'm just going to wait. And you heal automatically when you're in a town. Later on, you can build a healer. You could use that. And he guarded again. Use that to heal your guys completely up. It just gives you a little bit more time. Time's really an essence thing here. So since he guarded on that middle monster, and that's the one I'm focused on, I'm going to wait a couple of times. You have to wait until it would have been his turn again if he had any action points, and that will undo the guard. Otherwise, you have to break through it, and I'm honestly not sure if any of my monsters even could break through it. At 1550, I would not be able to do anything to the one who guarded. Is what it is. So had I not missed, we would have been able to knock him out, but we missed. Oh well. So that is that, and we lost 1,078 to 2495. No idea why. Obviously, we did have that one miss. It shouldn't have been that much, but it doesn't really matter. Here he comes again, and we'll just have round 2. The game is over if you lose your home base or you lose your main character. So in this case, Kaiba. Kaiba, Yugi, or the third one is Joey's campaign. If you lose that one, then the battle would be over, and you just replay it again. So one strategy sometimes is to actually go through the whole battle, and then right at the end lose your main guy or lose your base, so that you replay the whole battle again, because you keep the experience. And some people grind their monsters experience to try and get that, and they do it that way. I don't usually reset the battle to grind, but I will reset the battle if I miss the roaming monster, and I want that roaming monster. Sometimes you don't want the roaming monster. There was a crit, so the game does have critical hits sometimes. I don't know what the calculation for it is and how likely it is, but you can have a crit for you, and you obviously can have one work against you. Pretty sure that Water Girl here is going to get knocked out after this. Oh well. We might be able to knock the ant out completely. Not sure. No, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. Give him the old razzle-dazzle. Alright. But we knocked a guy out, and it's also reduced two of the attacks. Knocking a monster out is the best thing you can do for your score, but we have won massively here. So you get a lot more experience for winning. You can see that there. It's okay, I don't think Water Girl is going to last very long. I do plan in this Let's Play to have each battle be its own video. Unless I really quickly knock out a battle, in which case I might do 2 battles in one video. But the plan right now, I think, is for each battle to be its own video. And you have to, in order to get all the monsters, you have to do Yugi's campaign, Kaiba's campaign, and Joey's campaign. And you actually have to do Yugi's campaign 3 times, Kaiba's campaign twice, and for each of them at least once after you've done Joey's campaign. So, I don't plan to get all the monsters hunt screen for you, but I will go through all 3 campaigns at least once, beginning with Kaiba's. And hopefully people watch it. But there's some Let's Plays on YouTube of this game, but I think it's pretty underrepresented, which is why I wanted to do this. Knock him down. Go! Alrighty. And so yeah, when you're early on in the campaigns, you don't have a ton of attack power, and you kind of have to rotate through this a fair bit. You know what, Kaiba, go ahead and try it. I don't think you can be knocked out in one shot, so you can at least weaken the teams, and if Mokuba needs to come and mop up, then he can. Now, they just waited. You have to kind of watch the screen. They did not guard, they waited, so we can just move right on in and attack. It's kind of foolish to wait unless you're waiting for a specific reason. There's a couple of reasons that I wait. Otherwise, you want to attack or guard. But you can wait out a healer, or you can wait out. If they guard, then you can wait that guard out, and that's just a waste of an attack point for them. There we go. We have one. And so your leader, your marshal, gets a lot of experience for the final win. Kind of the monsters kind of get their experience as they go, but that final win is really big for your leaders. Now, we don't have any traders now. Okay. It's time to attack the enemy's main base. You cannot defeat an enemy in its main base, town, or castle by simply fighting better. Yeah, again, you have to force them all out. I already said that. I fight for the people. I will win. Looks like you should not be the leader. Should have been the other guy. Alright, so you can see that there's 3, 2, and 2. So that's really important to note. That 3 is probably way more important of a monster than anything else, but let's go ahead and check. Yeah, so this one is completely meaningless. It's only 900 attack and 2 action points, but this 3, 1600, I don't like that, so we're going to try and get rid of the little octopus there as quick as we can. Poseidon's Spear. I don't actually know. I don't actually know what the names of these monsters are. Octoburser, Rukishin powered, and Dharma cannon, and mine are armored lizard, crawling dashing dragon, and the Dark King of the Abyss. Now, I've played through this game a ton as a kid, and there's certain teams that I really like to have. More than any others, but we'll see. Ooh, they got a crit on me. It's kind of their one hope for victory. I don't like that they actually got it. Now, one thing, as is the case in Pokemon, when you have things like double battles and triple battles and things, you want to focus all your attention on one opponent. And either make them heal that opponent, or hopefully you knock out the one opponent, and you know, in future battles you're better off. They don't have a tendency to do that very often, but oftentimes I think they can sense if they have a chance to win the fight outright. They will knock that monster out, but we'll see as this goes. So there we go. That is the first one done, and we have 1, which means barely 1, which means that we will get a lot of experience, but most importantly, we will not have to wait the 5 seconds to turn back around and attack again. And go right in, but I'm actually curious about something. No, okay. You can't build anything yet. So there are a couple of Kaiba's monsters that were a little bit weaker. So I am not quite sure that we're going to be able to knock them out without losing one of those. So it's not a completely assured victory, but we're pretty close to. I'm just hoping that Dark King of the Abyss can get an attack off. He waited. Oh, that was a terrible decision. I know that every monster is able to move once before anyone moves a second time, or at least has an attack the second time, and then after that I don't know how the calculations work. At least your attack went to the right person. I was about to have you arrested for stupidity. It is a 2002 AI, so we'll give him that credit, I guess. There we go. It's also not the hardest game on the face of the planet. But I like that. Nice, casual, easy feel run through. Barely win again. But I don't think that Karma Cannon has any hope of knocking out either of my remaining 2 monsters before we knock it out. In fact, I'm not even sure. What's your defense? It's 500, so even if it guards, we can break the guard. So let's go ahead and take it out. If I can find a good place in watching these videos for the face cam will return, but I'm not really sure where to put it. It's not going to block a bunch of stuff from my test viewings, at least. Go. Go again, and again, and again, and again. One more attack should do it. He's going to get his attack off, but he went to other monsters. That's not the way you do it. I mean, yeah, you couldn't win, but at least attack the same monster. And down you go. There is a victory. And we will liberate the city from our enemies. Not only that. Even if you defeat me, there are others that will avenge me. Alright. And Marithus, I think the name is, says the rebels are foolish. Preparations for public executions are well underway. What a sight that will be, the rebel fools. Be quiet, Kaiba says, or I'll rip out that tongue of yours and feed it to the dogs. Kaiba immediately not overly happy with the Empire. We will get the Rukishin power, the middle monster of that group, and we get 2 blue medicines and a monster reborn. Which is good. After the Meriden massacre, Resistance forces ceased their open defiance, fearing reprisal from the Imperial Guard. Instead, the Resistance started attacking small Imperial security forces across the continent. The Empire has been unable to restore public order. Thieves are taking advantage of the situation, forcing the Emperor to send Kaiba to restore order in the Empire. The Emperor gave the Imperial Guard direct orders to subdue a particularly nasty group called the Bandits. The Bandits seem to be focusing their activities on Vaxi Island, which is the island up there in the north. We cannot give these thieves their run of the Empire. We must stop them. I suppose you have a plan? We'll pretend to be a supply unit, transporting goods along the Central Way Road to Vaxi Island. So here in the beginning of this, these kind of like plans that they lay out and kind of like subterfuge happens on both sides, and then eventually it's just, we take our army, we attack here. It's kind of an interesting change of things. That's when we turn the tables on them. It should be easy for one of your talents. That reminds me, I believe you received some items. Yes, you can equip items, and you can change your monsters. So now we don't have 9 monsters only, you can actually change your monsters, which is good. And we have to bring Mokuba on this one. But I'm going to change up the teams. I do want to bring along one of the ones, at least one of the ones that we got that lot in that campaign, Baphomet. I really like him. So we're going to bring him along, and then we're going to get rid of... I like you, though. But you're not Knight Adept. You know what? That's okay. Oh, you're Knight Adept, too. well, we'll have our Knight Adept team. Mokuba, unfortunately, doesn't stay with us the entire time, which is sad. And we will at least put these two together. Anyone that same blue color? No. 600, 600, 300. We'll put Dark Plant on there because it does at least... that bad breath will eventually poison, but again, she's not going to do much. She, he, whatever. Marthas is not going to do very much. And then I will apply some items. Kaiba, you get a blue medicine, but not on the one that only has 2 power points. And we'll do it on the one that's level 1. And then this is going to be our defender. So, you get a Monster Reborn, and you get blue medicine, and that should be okay. But I think I'm going to save that there. I've been talking about the gaming. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you will enjoy this Let's Play. Give this game a chance. It's good, I think. I think it's a good game that is kind of sneaks up on people. But I hope you will at least enjoy me playing it. And I'll see you next time.